I'm Miss Peer Editor, and today we're writing a high-scoring body paragraph for Q2, the Rhetorical Analysis essay on the AP English Language and Composition exam. Make sure to watch until the end to see my full body paragraph. We're using the actual prompt from the 2021 exam, which is linked in the description. Here's the prompt. On February 27, 2013, while in office, former President Barack Obama delivered the following address dedicating the Rosa Parks statue in the National Statuary Hall of the United States Capitol building. Rosa Parks was an African-American civil rights activist who was arrested in 1955 for refusing to give up her seat on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Read the passage carefully. Write an essay that analyzes the rhetorical choices Obama makes to convey his message. The College Board will provide the speech or text for you to analyze, and the prompt will usually ask you to explain how the speaker conveys their message or achieves their purpose. Here's our thesis. In his speech, President Obama recounts anecdotes from Rosa Parks' past, alludes to the Bible, and weaves together the legacies of various civil rights leaders to affirm that every American, regardless of position or status, has the power to drive change. The body paragraph we're writing today will focus on this first section of the thesis. Let's establish a general structure that your body paragraph will follow. This structure is flexible. You can move elements around or add claims and transitions. It's completely up to you. Start with a topic sentence. This should answer the question, what is the intended effect of the rhetorical choices outlined in this paragraph? You'll then include evidence from the text, and you have two options. You can directly quote the rhetorical choice from the passage. You can also paraphrase or describe the rhetorical choice in your own words. For example, you could say, the speaker juxtaposes night and day, or the speaker recalls her parents' bravery when they immigrated to the United States. I typically use a mix of both methods. Next, you'll provide commentary in which you'll deconstruct your evidence to support your interpretation of the text. I'll explain exactly how you can do this in just a minute. You'll repeat this pattern of evidence and commentary multiple times. I recommend providing 2 to 3 pieces of evidence per body paragraph. Lastly, you'll write your concluding statement, in which you'll connect the body paragraph back to the thesis statement. Here, you should provide really specific details on the speaker's ability to achieve their purpose or message using the rhetorical choices discussed in the paragraph. The AP Lang Q1 rubric also has a section devoted to the sophistication point. You can earn this point by explaining the significance or relevance of rhetorical choices given the rhetorical situation. The rhetorical situation refers to the passage's exigence, purpose, audience, writer, context, and message. I have a whole video in which I analyze all of these aspects of the rhetorical situation for the 2020 prompt, so I highly recommend you watch that. It's important that you connect the rhetorical choices to these individual aspects rather than making a vague reference to the rhetorical situation as a whole. For example, you can connect the writer's background or previous experience to their tone or attitude regarding the central topic of the speech. You can also earn this point by explaining the purpose or function of complexities or tensions. Tensions indicate some kind of contrast, so those could be irony, tension between the audience and the speaker, clashing perspectives, juxtaposition of past versus present, literal versus implied meaning of a phrase, and more. Complexity is all about nuance and unearthing deeper meanings. If you can discuss hidden intentions, biases, social structures, paradigms, and different aspects of identity that could refer to culture, gender, age, etc., those will all help you dig deeper into the speaker's motivations and the choices they make. Another way to earn this point is to employ a vivid and persuasive style. Vary your sentence structure, provide transition phrases and sentences to make each idea flow logically into the next, and elevate your word choice. I've categorized a few different rhetorical choices you can select as your evidence for this essay. Check out my series of short videos in which I provide definitions, potential effects, and real examples of many of these choices in my AP Lang playlist. Just a quick note, many of these strategies overlap. For instance, pathos or an emotional effect may appear in the form of a simile or personification. Students often ask me, how do I write strong, in-depth commentary? Here, I've given you 10 starting points for your commentary. I'm not going to review all of them, but let's take a look at one of these categories. Let's say the speaker is trying to establish a conversation and connection with the audience. If you see a rhetorical question, your commentary can show that the speaker is trying to make the audience interested or curious about a particular topic, or perhaps the speaker is urging the audience to question popular assumptions. Sometimes the speaker is compelling the audience to imagine a hypothetical scenario or reflect on their own experiences. They might make a cultural reference or allusion that the audience can easily understand and relate to in order to establish a sense of camaraderie and familiarity. That will probably put the audience at ease and make them more willing to trust the speaker. The speaker might try to inspire the audience to take action. This is often an effect created by repetition. You can customize these points for the passage you're analyzing and use them as jumping off points for you to develop a more robust analysis. Now let's dissect our body paragraph. Here's our topic sentence. President Obama provides detailed anecdotes about Rosa Parks' protest on the bus and the people who boycotted Montgomery buses, highlighting their courage in a city hostile to their cause. This second part of this sentence, in particular, explains the overall effect of these anecdotes. He contrasts Rosa Parks' two encounters with the same bus driver, repeating the phrase, "she would not be pushed," when describing the second encounter to underscore Parks' conviction and bravery. The speaker's repetition evokes admiration in the audience, who recognizes that Parks refused to retreat even though she had multiple chances to change her mind. I've highlighted my evidence in blue, and the green underlined portion is my commentary. I'm showing that this quote reveals Rosa Parks' character traits and elicits emotion from the audience, so this is an example of pathos, even if I didn't explicitly write the word pathos. Aware that she would endure arrest and harassment, Parks engaged in civil disobedience to protest segregation, a system that society accepted blindly, despite its incongruence with fundamental American values such as justice and equality. We're targeting the sophistication point in this sentence by exposing the tension between American values and segregation. Obama later spotlights the persistence of boycotters who followed in Rosa Parks' footsteps, the tired feet of those who walked the dusty roads of Montgomery helped a nation see that to which it had once been blind. In this synecdoche, feet, a part of the human body, represent a larger whole, the population of protesters denouncing segregation on public transportation. Synecdoche is a less commonly used rhetorical choice, so I'm explicitly stating what each object in this sentence represents. You don't always have to do this, but I found this helpful in case the reader needs a refresher on what a synecdoche entails. The synecdoche illustrates the power of community, since participants in the civil rights movement endured unyielding conditions, finding strength and solidarity with one another. In my commentary, I'm contrasting the power of the individual versus a community. Each individual protester felt that they were part of something bigger, and that feeling probably gave them even more strength. President Obama informs the audience that he stands here in the Capitol as the nation's first Black president because of the activists who preceded him. This piece of evidence is a paraphrase. When he was a community organizer aspiring to a higher office, President Obama likely gathered courage from the stories that he is now sharing with the next generation of Americans. Here we're aiming to earn the sophistication point by connecting the speaker's previous job to his current purpose as he's delivering this speech. Last is the concluding sentence. Through storytelling, the speaker fulfills the duty of moral leadership often associated with the presidency, while proving that ordinary Americans without official positions in the government successfully fought for desegregation. Remember, in my thesis, I stated that the message of this speech was that ordinary Americans have the power to drive change. We're providing an example of this using the story of the Montgomery boycotters, and we're also explaining that this story contributes to President Obama's image as a moral leader. He's like an older, wiser mentor, imparting life lessons to the next generation. In the comments, tell me what commentary you would include in a body paragraph for this prompt, or ask any questions you have regarding AP Lang Q2. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and tap the bell to receive notifications. I'll see you next time.